In July of 2006, the Donahue family decided to go camping in the quiet, remote wilderness of Lake Hemlock. In solitude, they set up camp and unpacked the food they'd be eating over the next 3 weeks. They had never camped somewhere so remote and without people. The two younger boys decided to go explore their new environment. After about 15 minutes of stomping through the thick foliage, they came across an extremely unnerving sight. A large tree stump covered in small figures made of moss and sticks sat in the middle of a small clearing. In the center lay a grinning face burned into a large piece of bark. The children stood for a minute of increasingly disturbing silence before grabbing some of the doll-like figures and finding their way back to the campsite. That night, a deep sense of fear filled the tent. The boys decided to throw the dolls into the campfire to free themselves of the immense paranoia that had come back with the figures. That night, everyone in the tent had trouble sleeping. In the morning, the mother awoke to find both of her children missing. The campsite was in a state of disorder. The food had been thrown around, and blackened logs from the previous night's fire lay scattered on the ground. There was no sign of the dolls or the two boys. The only evidence of the missing children were a few scraps of clothing tied to some small, doll-like figures on a stump about a half-mile from the campsite. The area is now closed to the public for an increased number of reported disturbances.